So, hello guys, and welcome back to Trials of Tarot and Trials, because, yeah, there's another trial which, okay, the trial is not ongoing yet, and it's gonna be years, or at least a year, until it goes to trial, if it goes to trial. But there's another case that, if you followed the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, you heard it mentioned multiple times. Some people already say that it's the same thing, that the Marilyn Manson, Evan Rachel Wood thing is exactly the same. Evan is lying and Marilyn Manson is the victim. And they already made up their minds. And my problem with that is that we're talking about different circumstances, we're talking about different people, and we haven't seen a whole lot of evidence. And yes, I had the audio recordings before the Johnny Depp trial. That's why I wanted to watch the trial, because I heard what Amber said in those recordings. So I was like, what the hell, if nothing else, the fact that he is the only one abusing her in that relationship is already a proven lie. So I wanted to know what was, going on, and I was ready to hear the other side, and I was ready to hear evidence that would have shown that Johnny Depp was indeed, an abuser back to her. But besides sometimes talking to each other horribly, which both of them did, and I'm not negating, the fact that can be abuse, but that those were arguments. They definitely had to finish the relationship. There was no actual evidence that proved that Johnny Depp physically or sexually or whatever abused Amber Heard. So I don't think we have all the facts in this case yet. I'm not gonna lie, I know more about Emma Rachel Wood than I know about Marilyn Manson. I know Marilyn Manson because, I don't live under a rock. There was a few songs that I liked, but I was never into that sort of aesthetic or music or words, to be honest. Well, I mean, what he tried to portray, I'm not saying that. And I'm gonna use his, stage name, because if I say, I don't even know his Brian Warner, I think that's his name, then we don't know who that is, because we don't know him. So but I'm not judging him based on what he portrays in the media, because that's an act that sells really well. But that also doesn't mean that he's not sometimes someone who's crossing lines. We just don't know, because we were not there. And with Evan Rachel Wood, I'm a huge Westworld fan. I love that TV show, so that's why I'm interested in this case, because I want to know if it's gonna fuck up my favorite TV show. And I know how, ridiculous the reasoning is, but I want to love that show. So I'm kind of hoping that it's not as clear cut as the other one was. I'm open to obviously learning things, and I want to learn about the truth, or at least as much as we can get close to it. But I don't think that the case is, so far at least, is the same. I watched videos that were labeled as proof that Marilyn Manson is innocent. So far, those were just theories, in my opinion. I didn't see hard fact, actual truth in those. But that's true for the other side. I haven't seen anything that would definitely prove that he was indeed the horrible one in this relationship. But what I want to say is that I watched the Phoenix Rising documentary, and I've seen real, actual, genuine feelings there. Though Evan Rachel Wood is a much better actress than Amber Heard, that's for sure. There are elements in that documentary that you can see that they are empathizing things, because they know that could be used, that for their case, that that makes them look better. Obviously, it was a documentary made for them to show their side of the story. And there are things that, if they are true, then that's horrible. If about the pretending to be an FBI agent and stuff like that, if those become actually true, Yeah, so there's a lot of things that needs to come up, but that's why it's it's good that there's a court case, because there's going to be discovery, there's going to be stuff like that coming up, so we can learn. But with this case, there might be a chance, at least how what I see at this moment, and my opinion might change completely. I'm open to it, and I think it's a horrible case in any way. Doesn't matter which side is true, it's just bad. But I kind of feel like people are saying that Evan Rachel Wood wasn't a teenager when they started the relationship, which technically is true. She was 19, but I kind of hate. Okay, I hate how their side is empathizing that she was a teenager. They should have just said that she was young. I think that would have been enough. Saying that she was a teenager when she was 19 just opened up this whole thing that people are now running around saying that she was 19, she was not a teenager. But and aside from this case, when a 40-something guy goes after a 19-year-old, that's gross in my book. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much you claim you love that person. There's a fucking age difference there that shouldn't be just overlooked. So on a basis, that's already gross to me. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it was a mutual relationship and everything is fine because they love each other. No, that's a 19-year-old without any real life experience, impressionable, because people are young at that age. And the 40, or he was, I think, 40 something already. Not even if it was just close to 40. That's a whole lot of life experience, and that's not an equal relationship. So I always hate when men go after young women, and that's already something that I don't like, and I just want to be honest about it. But what could happen in this case, and what could be the case, just by looking at it, that she went along with things because she had not actual real experience with these things, and she just thought that she need to do these things to be accepted and whatever. And because she was willing to participate in certain things at the beginning, he might have thought that, oh, everything is fine, she's on board with this, everything is cool. And then when things might have happened that she wasn't on board, he might have not even noticed that, and she might didn't think that she could say anything because she was already part of the whole thing, the whole world. Because if you look into how they spent or how he spent his time in general, that's not a very calm and like nurturing environment. So there could be a disconnect there. We will see. I don't know. I'm just here to pull some cards because I want to know what happens. But like I said, it's not going to happen anytime soon. But I wanted to give you some information on where I'm coming from when I'm doing these readings. I'm not going to alter any meanings that I see in the cards because of that. I can't be that objective. It's up to you to believe me or not. And I'm not going to do third-party readings either, so I'm not pulling cards for them. I'm pulling cards for the two legal sides because I think as a public, that's what we need to focus on. And if you watched my last reading on the debt trial, it was exactly that message from the cards, that we need to take a break and assess and wait for the evidence to come in. So we're going to do that. So this is going to be a trial that I will do updates, especially if some legal stuff is coming up. This first one is just going to be about how the two sides are feeling currently, how confident they are, because I think that's a good starting point. I chose the True Black Tarot for it, which interestingly we have the Three of Swords on the deck, bottom of the deck, because I think the aesthetic matches the case, the two sides, kind of. I felt like it matches it. So this is going to be the official trial deck for this one. But yeah, so I will update you guys when there's a legal filing and with readings. So hope to see you around. And please do share me with why you think either is wrong, or if you have an opinion already, why do you think that opinion is correct. What did you see that made you think? Because like I said, if there's a channel like there was in Johnny Depp's case, that Brian fella, the incredibly average, his channel, which I watched all the audio recordings and reconstruction, whatever, he was doing a lot of detective work, so to speak, pointing out inconsistencies and stuff like that. So that was a very useful thing to watch. So if there's something like that you think that is not just someone's opinion, please do, share it. But let's start. And I timestamped the rant or the intro. So if you're here for the reading, then this is going to be just a quick check-in where the two sides, the legal teams, or whatever the two sides legally are at the moment. So how confident they are. And up is going to be Evan Rachel Wood side with 8 of Cups. And this row is going to be Marilyn Manson's side. So I'm gonna just pull a few cards, see what comes out. Oh, I love this deck. It's not just pretty, it's actually very useful. So while I'm waiting for the other cards to come out, okay, I kind of feel like 4 is enough. 4 is a good number. And we're gonna just pull one card at the end to see any prediction how this will resolve. So I love that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull all the cards at first. Interesting. It's a very optimistic card on the Marilyn Manson side. Two of Pentacles. There's this, it kind of felt like there's a 2 swords here, so that's a 2. It looks like 2 twos, kind of, when I looked at it. So there's something with 2, which is, balancing. Okay, so right out of the bat, Marilyn Manson's side is much more confident, or, they think that it's gonna be resolved in their favor, that's for sure. Because on Evan Rachel Wood, and I'm gonna call her Evan, even though I don't know her, obviously, but I kind of like that name, Evan. It's for me, as a foreigner, it's unusual, so I kind of like that name. Her side has the 8 of Cups, which is walking away from something that you invested a lot of money in, energy and time in. So it could mean, walking away from the lawsuit, but they can't because they've been sued. So I don't think that settling is an option. If I remember correctly, Marilyn Manson's side was demanding a jury trial. But it could be because, once that lawsuit was filed, that drew a line. Because, new things started happening. And so it could be that they are ready to leave behind a very emotionally and, emotionally painful situation, something that's not working for them anymore. It could be a strategy that they might have, came up with. Or it could be that, she or her side thinks that with this lawsuit, they will be able to help her move on from where she is emotionally. That's what I'm kind of getting. But it's something, that you need to walk away from because it's just no longer working for you. We also have the King of Pentacles, which is interesting because we have the 2 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles here. And the King of Pentacles is someone who's obviously, it's not a gender specific reading, especially because we're talking about, a whole legal team. But the King of Pentacles, just like all the other kings, are master of their element. So they know how to handle resources, which is a good thing because that shows that for them, they have a good handle on things and resources and the money that is needed for this lawsuit and what it requires, time, energy, money, people, and they can navigate through that. So there's a stability there, which I like. I mean, when I say I like or not like, I just say that I like it for them, not for the case or for the truth, anything like that. But we also have, I think this one is the Three of Wands, which in this deck is about focusing on something and moving forward with it. In this one, you can see, hopefully I can show you, you can see the bird, I think it's a albatross, or just a bird of prey that preys on fishes. It's going on above the surface of the water, find the fish and go down and pick it up. So I kind of feel like that at this stage, because we're talking about how confident they are. They think, or no, not think, they feel like they have all the research they need. They know what their strategy is. I think the Three of Wands in this case means that. But we also have the Nine of Swords, which is a lot of worry and a lot of anxiety, which I think is normal, but it's interesting that it shows up. Because it means that, the overall energy is, there's some worries, there's some anxiety about this case, which probably is just the fact that it's going to be, if it's actually going to be a jury trial, it's going to be probably televised. It's going to draw a lot of attention, so the stakes are obviously higher. But the Nine of Swords usually means that, you're just amping up the anxiety level, and there's not actually things that are there to get you, nightmares, but it's more about you're just getting really anxious about things that could go wrong, which I think at this stage is completely normal. There's a lot of things that needs to be settled on and decided. So there's anxiety, or could be, about choosing the right witnesses or whatever. I don't know what they're doing at this stage. Not knowledgeable about that. I'm not even sure if we're already in discovery mode, if it was decided that it's going to be a jury trial. I can't remember. But we're early on, but there's a lot of moving things, that's for sure. So that's how they feel. Overall, I would say there's some anxiety, there's some things that needs to be, like heavy emotionally, that needs to be left behind. It can also mean, because we're talking about how as whole side is working together, that you have to sometimes cut out the emotional part, because you have to concentrate on the facts and the legal side of things to win. But because of these two cards, I would say that they are ready to move forward, and they are confident in that aspect. The other side, Marilyn Manson, they sued, so they obviously, I would have said that they think that they have a chance to win this, because I don't think they would just sue and demand a jury trial if you don't think that you can win. They definitely have the Ace of Cups, which is interesting because it kind of felt like that we have the two water cards underneath, and both means a new beginning emotionally, but while the Eight of Cups talks about more how you leave behind something that you invested time, energy, and love in to start something new because it's just not good for you anymore, which has a kind of sad, nostalgic undertone for me. The Ace of Cups is everything is going to be, like, we're starting something new, it's exciting, and, and we're happy for starting it. So they're definitely looking at this as a very optimistic and very promising new start for them, the trial. We also have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is an interesting one because I would feel in this case it's about that I'm ready to, execute orders. I'm ready to find what needs to be found to help the case. And it's interesting, how the knight came out, because, you can say that the lawyers could be that knight in shining armor that will come in and protect what needs to be protected, believing in that cause energy, which I would expect, if you take on some clients, that at this point at least you would believe that they are innocent. The Two of Pentacles in this case, I think, is just, it shows that they need to balance how things are going on. Because, like I said, there must be a lot of moving particles, but that also suggests that they are very capable of balancing things. And we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is it's about legacy, it's about financial reward as well. So they are fully expecting to win, and they are fully expecting to be able to prove that they were that they won, they were right, they are innocent, because we're not just talking about one case, we're talking about what legacy both parties will leave behind, and they feel more optimistic about that one. They definitely in the we're gonna handle everything. We know we're right. We have this new start, new beginning to prove we're right, and we're gonna build that foundation and build that legacy that we want to. So it's at this stage, this is quite expected, but I feel like Marilyn Manson's side is much more on the confident side. But we're early on, so that was the same. But I'm like I said, I don't know. We will see. We will see what happens. So, okay, we have the High Priestess for the overall how the trial will end up, and the Strength on the bottom of the deck, which is kind of interesting because this. Oh no, it's not a Strength. I just keep associating lines with Strength, but no, this is the Seven of Wands, and it kind of Six of Wands, because it's kind of funny because it's victory. But look at that, the Lion ate the Hunter. So how do you feel about who's the lion, who's the hunter? It's very, very interesting. But I just started laughing because the High Priestess is pretty much just, we don't know it yet, and we need to wait, we need to see. But I also associate diplomacy with the card, so there might be a chance for actually, not go to trial and settle behind the scenes, which would be interesting because, who gains more with settling? At this point, I don't think either side would, but that's just from what I know about the case so far. So interesting that we have the High Priestess, and I kind of associate, when the High Priestess comes up, is usually it's not the time to know yet, which I think is perfect, because there are just so many things that can go in either way that there's no way knowing at this moment, because what ethically is right and what legally is right doesn't always connect. So we will see. But this was the first reading. I kind of like seeing both sides represented this way. I think the deck works well for this trial, or for them. We will see. And yeah, I will have more trial related readings. I want to start with the Daybell case, because that's gonna come in January so far, it looks like. Even though there might be some fuckery around the date, but I don't think so. I think it's gonna be in January, and there's a lot of things. I just haven't had a deck idea for that one. That's why I haven't started. If you have a suggestion and you're still watching for the Daybell case, because you know what that is all about. I mean, using the zombie tarot would be, I think, maybe too in your face, but maybe not. Now that I think about it, maybe I should use the zombie tarot. Ooh, oh god. So if you're following that case, do you think it would be kind of gross to use the zombie tarot? Do let me know. But I also want to start a series about trial of the centuries, because I wanted to do something with true crime for a while now, but I just didn't know what to do, because I didn't want to read for two fresh cases or currently ongoing cases, because that's not for me. But I wanted to do something, and I was trying to see how I want to do this without really getting into the third party reading things. And then Rob from Law and Lumber, and I forgot, I think it's Scott from a historical channel. I don't know his channel's name, but if I remember, I will link it down somewhere. They started doing trials of the centuries live streams. They obviously come at those trials from the legal side and historical side, so definitely not tarot. But I kind of want to do cases like the Lizzie Borden case, where the more you know, you're like, oh, what just happened? And I kind of feel like there could be some interesting, just for entertainment, just for having fun, do some reading about, did she do something, was she even remotely responsible, and stuff like that, because I think that would be interesting. So if you like those kind of things, please like, subscribe, comment down below, do let me know, because I will know that you're interested in something like that as well. And thank you so much for being here. See you in the next one. Bye.